the live session in YouTube right now, as Guy mentioned. So if you guys also would like to watch the previous ones that we already had as well, that's the place. So you can find us there. So today we're going to use Zoom, and I'm not sure about Slice. Guy, are you also going to use Slice today?
Yeah, we're going to use Slice today, yeah.
Okay. So we're going to send you guys the link afterwards. This Slice is more for the Limbeer itself. And for feedback, we have LinkedIn as well. So please make sure that you guys also fill in our feedback form, and also you guys can find us in our LinkedIn as well. So first, where are you guys attending the event? So I added here, let me just share. Let me share here via chat. I think I have to stop sharing to share this thing with you guys. So I just shared the link via chat, and I would like to double check, where are you from today? Let me get back to sharing my screen. Florida. Okay, yeah, Dublin, Hoofddorp, Breda. Vila do Conde, where is this place?
It's in Port.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice. Nice to see that somehow this Bombinhas, Brazil, okay. A lot of people from Dublin. Finland. That's nice. Who's in Finland?
Me, Harry.
Ah, okay, nice.
But I'm living in Lisbon, Portugal at the moment, so.
Okay. Okay, nice. Nice. Another one that I'd like to ask you guys, like, how are you feeling right now?
Can I do a combination?
I'm not sure. You can try it, but I'm not sure if I allowed multiple options. Okay, nice. It's more like a quick mood check of the audience. Okay, yeah. If I also did my assessment, probably I'll be here in the 6. Okay, nice. Thanks for sharing, guys. Let's just continue here really briefly. Where are you right now? So we started in Rio, and so this is the reason why it's here in the middle, but these are the current places that you can also find us. Everything's registered there in the Meter platform. So yeah, so currently we have in more than 9 cities. Going really briefly about our mission, we wanna make sure that we spread the Agile mindset and share knowledge and experiences essential to increase the sense of community that we have. And we do that by promoting meetups with Agilist enthusiasts in general. And yeah, we see ourselves as a bunch of Agilists that can make a difference, and by promoting lectures and dynamics with a lot of beer and fun. And this is us. So probably we even need to update some of the pictures here afterwards, because we do have new people that joined us as well to help out also in the Lisbon event as well. And these are the platforms that you guys can find us. So we still have the Facebook there. and Instagram, our LinkedIn, and our YouTube as well. And these are all the links of the Mira platforms that we currently are present. And yeah, Steve, now it's up to you. Steve, also as our organizer of the US edition, he's also going to take us through his amazing presentation.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here, both as an organizer, but also as a presentation. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Steve Crago. I live in Central Texas, and I'm the founder and CEO of my own company. It's called Phoenix Rising Transformation. And so today I'm going to talk about the ethics of Agile coaching. And so, and again, this is going to be short and sweet and to the point. As soon as I can get my little thing here working. Basically, you know, currently right now, as it stands, there's basically no industry guidelines or regulations surrounding Agile coaching. Now, Scrum Alliance does certify Scrum coaches, and they do have a code of ethics and code of conduct, but Scrum.org doesn't have one. IC Agile doesn't have one. I don't know about, I think that, you know, those are the three most recognized bodies in the world for certifying coaches. But anybody can call themselves an Agile coach. And in fact, I was in a large company over a year ago. And when it was first announced that they were going to transform to Agile, people that I knew that were not Agile coaches overnight, in the blink of an eye, became Agile coaches, experienced Agile coaches. And so, you know, over the years, we've noticed that there's problems with people that just made that immediate overnight transformation because they really didn't know what they were doing. They were not Agile coach. They were not Agile experts, period, let alone information as far as what it took. And so, within the Agile Alliance, we've had several meetings over the past several years, and about 20 of us got together last year, and we've been working towards identifying a code of conduct and a code of ethics from the perspective of the Agile Alliance. And those of you that don't know anything about Agile Alliance is a group of members that have one thing in common, and that's Agile. Agile Alliance does not support or certify any specific framework or methodology. It's, you know, all methodologies are welcome. They don't certify anybody. They don't train anybody. We have annual meetups and conferences, but we thought it would be good for us to come up with a code of ethics that people in Agile coach positions or even in leadership positions that does some kind of coaching could have a moral standard and a code of ethics that they would voluntarily agree to. And this came about because there's some people in our community, in the Agile community, that were calling themselves Agile coaching that was doing bad things. And they weren't acting ethically. They weren't portraying the values of being Agile, let alone being an Agile coach. And we had companies contacting the Agile Alliance saying, hey, what's going on? Because, you know, Agile Alliance represents the Agile community. And so we got together and said, you know what, we're going to do a voluntary code of conduct and code of ethics. And hopefully that people will see it and understand it and they'll subscribe to it. Okay, so that's what this talk is about today. And so, you know, before I go farther into the discussion, and this is going to be a discussion and things, so I want people to participate as well, because we want to get your feedback. So in our chat session, what I want you to do is take one word and use that one word to describe ethics in your own understanding. You know, please don't Google ethics or anything. I just want to know what you understand the word ethics to mean. So if you could just put that in the chat, I'd appreciate that very much. We'll take about a minute to do that. Colin, thank you very much. Moral compass, do things right, integrity, moral standard, absolutely. Keep going. Integrity, operating with integrity. Okay, yes, and lots of integrity. Awesome. I love it. Behavior. Excellent, excellent. This is all excellent. Do the right thing. And see, the thing about this is, and is that we're raised to have certain types of values and morals. And one of the things that used to always confuse me, and I've been teaching Agile for a very long time, is why do we got to have the word Agile in front of the words ethics or values? Because you don't need to have Agile to have values and ethics and morals. And so when I talk about ethics and morals and values, I don't need to use the word Agile in front of it, because we all are raised with certain morals and values and ethics. And we have certain things in our lives that we hold dear. And so, my two biggest, personally, from my perspective, my two biggest values is behind on my logo, and it's integritas et fortitudas. And what that means is integrity and courage. And so those are my two most important values. They're not all my values, but to me, it's more important for me to have integrity, number one, and number two, to have courage. And that courage helps me live in my values and standards. Okay. And part of the other
Steve,
problem, yeah, go
just
ahead.
a sec.
Yeah.
You're still on the first slide, which was, okay, I think it changed now. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. And the other part of it is, throughout the industry, there's been so many problems happening by corporations. Volkswagen had a huge scandal and they were going through an agile transformation. IBM had a huge scandal from their executives who was also going through an agile transformation. And so it's not just corporations that are having a scandals, it's corporations that said they're transforming to agile. And so that affects the agile transformation, that affects the agile community, which is why I'm talking, that some people reached out to me because they knew I was working on this board with the Agile Alliance to talk about the ethics and the standards that we're creating. Is because it's not just individuals that we're seeing that's doing harm, but it's also companies executive teams, their leadership, and it's causing great harm on people. And the first thing people see is, oh, Agile sucks, look what it's done. Okay, look at how these people are acting. Look at how this Agile coach is acting. And so whether it's you or not that's involved, it's the perception. And so, now, Scrum Alliance, like I said, they have a code of ethics and standards. And if you're a certified Scrum Master or Scrum professional, or you're a certified coach with Scrum Alliance, if you violate their code of standards or code of ethics, they can remove your certification and they can kick you out of their organization. But they're the only ones. IC Agile and Scrum.org does not have that. And so we're trying to get a standard for all people. And part of the group that I'm in, we do have representatives from IC Agile. We have representatives from Scrum Alliance. We have representatives from Scrum.org and other organizations. And so this is a global organization, and we're trying to get people together to have a common code of ethics that we agree to abide by. Okay. And so when you think about ethics, in the easiest terms, it's just a system of moral principles. And it's basically how people lead their lives and make decisions about certain things. And it's concerned with, individuals and society. And ethics are also not just given in your family, it's also the community you surround yourself with. I talk about, in some of my training, I talk about respect. The term respect has different meanings for different cultures. Now, I live in Central Texas, and Texans have a particular feeling about respect. that not all of Americans hold. Same thing. I've visited China over 15 times in a 2-year period. Chinese people, Oriental people have a different concept and understanding of respect than some other people. And so we have to be diverse in our thinking and understanding, in that when we look at our values and how they influence people and affect people, we have to consider not only our community and our family, but also those that we surround ourselves with, especially if you're working as an Agile coach, because we work with diverse teams and cultures. And so we have to adapt to their culture and to some of their values, as well as if they're visiting us, they also need to be aware of ours. Okay. So any questions on that so far? Because I want this to be somewhat of a two-way conversation. One way that because if we don't talk about it, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we're doing something. We're not just, see, that's the thing about us with our membership, is we're not just talking. We're actually doing something, and we're going to get into that in a few minutes. Well, one of the things that Lisa Atkins says, and if you don't know who Lisa Atkins is, you should if you're in the Agile community. She's an awesome person. She wrote a book on Agile coaching, and she does a lot of training and coaching herself. She's very well known in our community. And she basically said, what is the up with which you will not put? So if you think of the word put up, that's what she's talking about. What are you willing to put up with as part of your life and what you're exposed to? And we have to think about that. What are you willing to put up? And, I heard someone say probably 6 or 7 years ago, the thing that you walk past and ignore is what your true values are. So if you're walking out in public and you see a man abusing a woman verbally or physically, and you walk past that, then that's what you support, because you don't do anything. If you see someone stealing company property and you just walk past that, what's your personal value? What's your ethics? And so that's what Lisa's talking about, is just that. What you put up with is what you are and who you are. And so when we see things that are not right, we have certain responsibility to speak up. And sometimes that might be hard, especially in the workplace, especially in a workplace that is not very trusting, that is not very friendly. Sometimes speaking up may mean that you could lose your job. And so you have to think, you have to think about your personal values and what you're willing to put up with. Now, one of the things I teach people in my coaching class is we have to draw a line in the sand. When we look at our values and our behavior, we have to put a line in the sand. What are we willing to bend for? And what are we willing to stand firm? And unless you decide that, when it happens, it's too late. So you have to think about it. And this is a good time now for you to think about, what are your values and beliefs, and how are you going to stand in them? Are you going to bend them based on the crowd you're hanging out with, or based on the popularity of it, even though it goes against what you believe? Or are you going to draw that line in the sand and say, no, I'm not going to do that? Yeah, I know I could lose my job. I know I may not get promoted or get a pay raise, but I'm standing firm in my beliefs and my values. This is not right. And this has to do with what happens in the Agile community every single day. I've worked with literally dozens and dozens of teams and hundreds of different types of leaders, and things that we experience. Basically, if you've been in the Agile community for a while, you've seen this. You've seen leaders that are doing harm. And what is your job? What is your role to help the team that you're working with? This is what we're talking about. and even more so as Agile coaches, because as the people on here that know me personally, they know that an Agile coach to me is one of the highest responsible positions you can have in Agile, because you influence not just teams, but individuals, and you influence leaders and managers, and they watch how you behave. Think about that for a minute. Are you representative of what you're speaking or teaching or preaching? Do you walk the talk, or you just run your mouth? You know, and that's the other thing I've been told is, Steve, you're too blunt. Well, I'm sorry about that. I spent 20 years in the military. I don't believe in going around subjects. I believe in going right through it. So I apologize for that if I'm getting too far ahead and I'm too much to the point. But that's the way I believe. That's the way I feel. Is that we have to get to the point about certain things. We can't coddle people in some areas. And so again, we are personally responsible for becoming more ethical than the family or the community that we grew up in. Okay. So think about that for a minute. Think about your level of responsibility. Think about yourself on your team and what people think of you as an individual. Are you a person of your word? Are you a person that is brave and you value people and human life, and you value integrity and openness and respect? Or are you the kind of person that just goes with the flow? And how does that make you feel? Okay. So when we started creating the Code of Ethics for the Agile Alliance, we went to the International Coach Federation and the Global Code of Ethics. And I'm not going to read these to you. You can read them. And one of the reasons that we went to the International Coach Federation is a lot of us Agile coaches are certified professional coaches by International Coach Federation. Some are certified by the European Mentoring and Coaching Association. I happen to be a certified professional coach in ICF. And so we went to them and we looked at their code of ethics and standards. And we got permission, of course, to use it, because for ICF, that is copyright protected. So we have permission. And we just looked at that, and all of us that's on the team, there's 20 of us from around the world. We looked at that and said, how can we relate this to Agile coaching and leadership coaching? And so that's how we started. So what I want to ask is, in the chat session, what unethical Agile coaching have you seen and experienced yourself? So let's take a minute or two and just in the chat, and don't tell me the names. Let's keep it confidential. Just let me know what kind of unethical Agile coaching you've seen. Just put it in the chat. Okay, taking credit for other people's work. Yeah, absolutely. That happens all the time, unfortunately. Anyone else? I've seen Agile coaches teach Agile coaching courses, and they'd never coached a single team. How's that go? I've seen people that were Agile coaches that didn't even know Agile coaches. One team abusing or blaming another. Yeah. Being too much inclined to one framework. Yeah, absolutely. Saying things they didn't do. Selling a transformation that didn't exist. Yeah. Poor judgment. Absolutely. Playing class. Yeah, Agile coaches playing classical bad consultants. Yeah, talking on conferences about things they've never experienced. Yep, same for blogging. Absolutely, misrepresenting their skills. Absolutely, going in and having an agenda before they even talk to the client. Say, oh, I'm going to sell you this framework because That's what I do. And it happens all the time, which is, again, why we're starting to come up with this, okay? Because we see all these things. So when we think about Agile coaching ethical framework, we want to make sure that when we're talking to our clients, that we don't automatically go in with an agenda to sell services and training and coaching, because that's not what you're supposed to do. To be a good Agile coach, you got to find out what the real problem is that they're trying to solve before you do anything. And the other thing is, some Agile coaches want to make a career at one client site. So, yep, I'm here, I'm making good money, I'm happy, I'm going to retire from this company in 20 years. Well, no. Agile coach at a company is supposed to be on a short-term basis. Your job as an Agile coach is to work yourself out of a job, and that you help that team become the best they possibly can, and then you leave. Now, you can go stay in the same company and go to different organizations, but if you've been coaching the same Agile team for 3 years, there's something wrong with you, my friend, because no team is that bad. No team makes no improvement in 3 years. Okay, so think about that. Think about that. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pull up a website here. Let's see. And this is going to be my request. And I'm getting close to the end. And I'm going to put this link here for everyone to have.
I still cannot see anything, Steve. I can only see.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm getting there. I got to stop sharing that, and I'm going to share. Let me share my website here. There we go. So in the chat, I put the link to our page, the Agile Alliance Agile Coaching Ethics Initiative. Okay. And what my request for you here, and not just for you, but your friends, people that you know that are either wanting to be involved in the Agile community or that already are, is read through here and then go to the draft for the ethical code of conduct, and then go to the other page that's just below that. And I'm going to go back and go to the Agile coaching ethics scenarios. So the first link.
Yeah, Steve, somehow I can only see like a black screen that you're sharing.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
Okay, let me go back again. How about now?
It's still nothing. It's still like a
No,
black one.
it just say that you're sharing, but I cannot see anything.
Yeah, I cannot see anything.
I'm
Maybe it's on
sorry.
your second screen or something.
Yeah, might be.
Okay. Well, if you can go to that link, you'll see what I'm showing. While I try to, let me stop sharing first.
Can you walk us through again the steps?
Yeah, maybe I can do that.
Yeah.
I have it open here. So
Okay.
this is the page,
Yeah.
right?
Yep, that's the page. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So this is the page. I put it in the chat session so you can get that link. And just read down if you could scroll down, Donnie. Okay, read this whole page and then stop, please. Right there, up, scroll back up. You see all the names of us that are on it. If you could scroll up some more, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, stop. All right, so the first one, the Code of Ethical Conduct for the Agile Coaching, if you could review that, that's our draft, okay? And that's our actual code of ethical code for Agile Coaching. And then review the draft for the scenarios. So we don't just have a code of ethics, but we have scenarios that are where it talks about this scenario is appropriate and inappropriate and gray area. So we have examples because some of the ethical code of conduct might be confusing. And so we talk about what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, what might be a gray area. So it helps people understand, what are we talking about? So we give both the the ethical conduct, and then we give the ethics scenarios. And so what we would ask from people, and that's one of the key reasons why I'm here with the Agile Beer Global environment, is we want feedback, because right now there's just 20 folks that's created this thing. We've gotten input from some people, but we really need input from a lot of people, because we want the entire Agile community to consider themselves part of this effort. So as you read through both of these websites, write down your opinions, write down what, maybe there's something there that means something special to you and it's not there. Put it in an email and send it to agilecoachingethics@agilealliance.org, and we will get it. And we meet every 2 weeks, and we process all requests. We consider all requests. And, you know, we're in our third iteration right now. And we've basically finished the ethics, and we're almost done with the scenarios. And we're going to move into our next iteration, where we're going to talk about, okay, well, what happens if someone makes a commitment and then they violate that commitment? Because, you know, a piece of paper is just a piece of paper, it's just a document without any kind of action. So we're going to create actions. And what we're going to do is, and again, this is just, we're still discussing it, but the concept is the Agile Alliance gets literally hundreds of requests from companies and individuals about Agile coaches. They want recommendations. You know, who are good Agile coaches that we're looking for Agile coaches. We want to hire some, we want to contract some. And so we're going to have a list of people that make a commitment to this code of ethics. And then, you know, we will give these companies the names of the people that subscribe to this code of ethics. But it's also another way where corporations can file a complaint. If your name is on that and a company files a complaint, then there can be an investigation. We can reach out to you, because, you know, we just not going to take one person's side of the story. We have to do an investigation, and we haven't decided what we're going to do yet. But that, you know, and that's what the next part is because, you know, the Agile Alliance does not certify anybody, so they can't revoke any certifications, but they can definitely censor you from the Agile Alliance. And I'm not saying we're going to do that, because we haven't decided yet. But the key thing is there has to be some kind of action if you violate the code of ethics that you said you voluntarily agreed to follow. And so we desperately need your feedback. We want it. We're begging for it. We've been begging for feedback for probably 9-10 months now. And so, you know, I think, Danny, that's about it. I'm ready for questions. And yeah, I'm very passionate about this. I've been trying to get this going for a long time. I tried to get it at a large company and they shut me down. But we're finally getting it in the Agile community. So ask away.
But Steve, thanks for sharing. I think that it's a lot of information that we also have to digest, you know, and it's also at the same time, it's really good to see that we do have a group of people that are really concerned on making sure that something is also documented about this thing. Because otherwise, as you said, like a couple of companies would just think that, Agile is not the way to go, and let's get back to doing something really random. But thanks for sharing.
My pleasure.
Questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Why
Yes.
not with Agnostic Agile?
I'm sorry?
Why not team up with Agnostic Agile? It's I've put it on the chat.
Oh, okay.
They have 12, well, in my opinion, moral standards to keep up to, which I really like.
Okay, I'll see if that's been incorporated. I have heard of Agnostic Agile, but I will definitely reach out to our co-leaders to see if they've incorporated that as well. But I haven't seen anything from them as part of our process, but thank you very much. I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, there are already 2,500 people who signed that. So
Okay.
Awesome.
the Agile
So
community.
is it a code of ethics that people abide by? I mean, I'll tell you what, Tom, if you reach out to me privately on LinkedIn, I'd like to hear more about it.
Yeah,
If you can,
sure.
if you can connect with me and send me a private message.
Yeah,
Awesome. Great. Thank you very much.
I can also show it on screen if Dani allows.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
But just maybe just make sure that we also make it short so it can have like
Yeah, sure.
other questions.
Let me see where I have it. It's this one. This is the site, agnostic.
Uh-huh.
And these are the 12 things that I think are moral standards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen those. Okay, I've seen those.
And these are, well, 2,500 people already signed it.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think that the idea is similar. So if we could at least gather together the thoughts and complement each other,
Yeah,
each other
absolutely.
somehow. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thanks
Thank
for
you very
sharing,
much for
Ken.
that. Yeah, thank you.
Questions, compliments, concerns.
Yeah, I don't really have a question, Steve, but I think this is an amazing work for our community in general. One of my biggest concerns recently was about, what direction are we going with everything that I'm seeing and we're seeing, especially on social media, all these certifications, all these, people selling experiences that they don't really have or that they, learn from a book and not from real experience. Or only the agile side of things and not the people coaching,
Right.
side of.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that we are doing something now to change that scenario and hopefully things will be much better for us professionals in that space in the near future.
Yeah, so do I. Thank you, Coca. We're trying to make it better and we're starting with the Agile coaches.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone
Okay,
else?
we still have time.
Okay.
Yeah, so if no further question,
Short,
thanks again
sweet.
for your time, Steve.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I hope I didn't bore everybody to death.
No, it's not. It's not. At least not myself. But
I
I'm a
think
bit suspicious, right?
I think this is a little bit dense, Steve, and I think we all have things we need to think about.
Sure.
Especially starting with Lisa's question, what we put up with.
But
it is.
That was something really interesting when you asked about which kind of unethical behavior do we see, right? Like at least for me in the beginning was really tough to think about something, but as soon as people already started putting there, I already remembered some things. But at first, it's not a question that we are used to,
Yeah. And even though I'm talking about Agile coaching ethics, it applies for everything. It's
ethics
about everything.
And life.
Yeah. Are you walking your values? Are you living your values? Do you have different values at work than you have at home?
Yeah.
And it applies to everybody, not just Agile coaches.
Yeah. I completely agree. And I think we should all spend some time and reflect about these things and like bringing it back to the Agile community. I mean, I know our jobs aren't easy. We are usually on the front line trying to transform things, to change things, to bring people on the bus with us. And people sometimes don't want to. And even from my own personal experience today, it's been a hard day at work. And many times I felt like, should I keep going? you know,
Yeah.
or when we decide to give up, or when we decide to, I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
How is that aligned or not with our values? And when is the time for us to, just rethink what we're doing, where we're heading to?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so continuing then, getting back to Mentimeter, if you guys closed it, I open it again, the same link, and I'm asking a new question that I'll start doing it more often. It's the return of your time invested. Was this topic of the talk worth it for you?
And Tom mentioned Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob is an awesome, awesome person. I've got several of his books.
Nice. Okay. Okay, thanks guys for sharing. And before the link beer then, I just want to say a couple of things. So we're always open for speakers. So I'd like to encourage any of you to also share something with us. Tom already shared, but if you also have a different topic, feel free to share. Gunnar as well, Dwayne, whatever. Dominic has his perspective as well of Scrum Master / QA as well. No pressure.
It only hurts a little bit.
Yeah, but we are always open to receive different talks with different perspectives. So yeah, if we're so this is just an encouragement for you guys. And now we have the lean beer. So
Okay.
in the
Before we move on, let's just I'm going to close the YouTube live transmission.
Yes.
So
yeah, and we're also gonna give you guys 2 minutes so you guys can recharge, have a pee break as well. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go really briefly to the idea of the lean beer. So if you guys have attended one of our events, you already know how does it look like. But the idea is that we're gonna have like a lean coffee idea. So this is the image here that explains the context. So we're gonna gather together the people that are continuing here, and going to break down into smaller groups. And the idea is that in each of these groups, we're going to have a separate conversation, so we can have more focus on that as well. And you can bring any topic, not only the topics that are actually related to the talk itself. You can bring a concern that you have, you can bring questions, you can bring, any topic related to Agile, but not politics related. And we're gonna have 3 separate columns there. One is for our topics to be discussed, and you guys as a group are gonna prioritize this topic all together. So probably the platform that Guy is gonna share with you guys, you're gonna have some votes that you guys can decide which is the topic that we're gonna go through first. And as soon as the topic starts the discussion, we just move it from the to discussed column to the discussing column. And you guys as a group can also decide how would you like to time box, for how much time would you like to time box the discussion. But if that sounds too much information for you, don't be scared. We're gonna have some facilitators distributed inside each of the rooms as well to help out on this. And the idea is that we're going to stay within the same group for 30 minutes. And as soon as we get back, and then as soon as this 30 minutes is over, we're going to get back together again as a group, bigger group. And so we can share what was discussed inside the smaller group. Just a tip, the idea is that each of the groups will have the most a minute and a half to share the learnings. So make it short, already start noting something so we can share that with all the rest of the group.
Okay, so I'm already going to assign you guys to the breakout rooms so you can feel comfortable to have a break, be autonomous on self-organize yourselves to start. And we're going to be back in, is 35 minutes okay, Dennis, according to the schedule?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to open the breakout rooms now. Have fun, guys. Gunnar, I think you need to accept it. So I think the same for Carmine.